today's joint National Park Service, United States Navy Pearl Harbor Remembrance Ceremony. I'm David Ono, co-anchor at ABC 7 in Los Angeles. It's my pleasure to serve as today's Master of Ceremonies. The theme of this 84th anniversary ceremony is Building Pathways to Peace. With this commemoration, we recognize the importance of remembering the moment in the past when the prospects for peace were shattered and our nation was plunged into global war, while looking forward with gratitude, optimism, and determination to recognize and embrace the opportunities to establish and cultivate a brighter future. This annual ceremony serves as a moment of reflection and gratitude, but also as a call to action. It's a reminder to build on the solid foundation left by the greatest generation, adapting to new challenges with the same fortitude and commitment. And as we honor the past, we look ahead, ensuring that the lessons of history continue to guide us in creating a future that upholds the values of courage, resilience, and peace. Please rise as able for the arrival of the official party. The official party for today's ceremony includes Mr. Tom Leatherman, Superintendent, Pearl Harbor National Memorial, National Park Service. Deputy Chief of Chaplains, United States Navy, arriving. Navy Region Hawaii, arriving. Major General United States Army, retired, arriving. Guests, please be seated. Side boys, post. Ladies and gentlemen, it is customary on December 7th that we observe a moment of silence at 7:55 to commemorate the beginning of the attacks on Oahu. At 7:55, you'll hear the sound of the USS Arizona ship's bell rung by Mikhail Fox of the National Park Service to mark the start of our moment of silence. Completing the moment of silence will be F-22 Raptors from the 199th and 19th Fighter Squadrons, known as the Hawaiian Raptors, executing a missing man flyover formation just beyond the USS Arizona Memorial and over Ford Island, in honor of those who lost their lives in the defense of our country on December 7th, 1941. Please remain seated as this flyover takes place. The missing man formation was first used by the United States military in 1938. While aircraft have evolved and modernized since then, the concept of paying tribute to the fallen with this aerial salute is still used at funerals and memorials today. The gap in the formation symbolizes our fallen comrades and demonstrates to all that we will always remember their sacrifice. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please bow your heads as we observe a moment of silence to honor the events that occurred at this moment 84 years ago today. Our thanks to the 199th and the 19th Fighter Squadrons for participating in today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as able for morning colors and the performance of our national anthem and the Hawaii state song, Hawaii Pono'i, by the United States Pacific Fleet. Bugler, sound attention. Color guard, parade the colors.
Forward, march, left, 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 right, left, 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 left, left. Mark time, mark. Left turn, mark. Detail, halt. Reason, mark.
Retire the colors.
Order. Arms. Mark time. Mark. Right turn. Face. Forward. March. Left. 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 Right. Left. 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 Right. Left.
Guests, please be seated. For over 100 years, Pearl Harbor has served as America's hub for naval activities in the Pacific, and the United States Navy remains steadfast in the commitment to emulate the legacy of service represented by all of those who served here in December of 1941. The mission of Commander, Naval Surface Group Middle Pacific, is to manage the overall war-fighting capability of the Surface Combatant Force homeported at Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam. In the harbor, just beyond the USS Arizona Memorial, you'll see the guided missile destroyer USS Carl M. Levin with her crew lining the decks in the customary manning the rails formation. The crew of Carl M. Levin is proud to participate in the Pearl Harbor Remembrance Pass and Review. Commanding Officer Brent J. Holloway, a native of Massachusetts, is honored to sail with his crew on this important day in national and naval history, and wishes to extend his deepest respects to those who lost their lives fighting bravely on December 7th, 1941. It is customary for ships passing the Arizona Memorial to pay their respects by manning the rails. Today, in addition to rendering honors to the crew of the USS Arizona, still entombed in their watery grave, the Carl M. Levin will also render honors to the Pearl Harbor survivors and World War II veterans who have gathered with us today. This morning, we are honored to have with us World War II veteran, Mr. Milton Ripple. Milton Riptide Ripple, now 100 years old, served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. He enlisted as a young man and was assigned to the USS Pollux, a general stores issue ship responsible for supplying American forces across the Pacific theater. Mr. Ripple and his crewmates supported major operations in the Solomon Islands, where sustained resupply efforts were vital to the success of the island hopping campaign. Today, Milton Ripple stands as a living link to this critical chapter of naval history, remembered for his dedication, reliability, and the steady spirit that earned him the nickname Riptide. Mr. Ripple will face the USS Arizona Memorial, representing all World War II veterans, and return the salute to the USS Carl M. Levin as they pass close aboard. In recognition of the passing on of a legacy, Mr. Ripple will be joined in the contemplation circle by Civil Air Patrol Cadet First Sergeant Catherine Barber, McKinley High School JROTC Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Amra Aro, and Campbell High School JROTC Cadet Chief Jaira Naphtali Paraon. Mr. Ripple, hand salute. Mr. Ripple, ready to. Carry on. The men and women seated before us at our gathering represent America's greatest generation. No one before them, and no one since has been asked to answer the call to serve and sacrifice the way that they did between the years of 1941 and 1945. It is only fitting that we, the generations that followed, honor them for their example of faithful service. We want to thank you, Mr. Ripple, for all you've done. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Riptide Ripple. In the Hawaiian culture, the religious leader or spiritual advisor is known as a kahu. Today, we are pleased to have for our invocation a Hawaiian blessing offered by Kahu Kekoa. Please welcome.
Mai e malama mai e ke akua mai e aloha mai e malama mai mahalo ke akua me ke aloha pumehana e malama ho'o mai kako he malu mau ke akua we come to this place of peace ke akua we come to this place celebrating and honoring the past but now building forward for the future of peace. He ana ho'okahi no ke kino, a kanae, ua hana ia a nui na lala o na lala a pau he nui. Ho'okahi no kino. He la no me Kristo, no ka mea, ua bapetito ia kākou, maka uhane, ho'okahi I loko o ke kino ho'okahi. E ho'o mai ka I kākou, I ke akua I loko o ka uhane, me ka oia i'o. Kia koa, we come together as one body, as one nation, as one honua, one world today, to come and celebrate and to honor. Kia koa, what we celebrate is the future, the building of peace around the world. Kia koa, there's so much dissension in the world today. And kia koa, what we really need is that aloha spirit to unite us together in maluhia, in peace. And so as we are so many different parts in the world, Kia koa, the good book tells us we are many parts, but we form one body. And so it is with you, Kia koa. So today, may we all become one ohana as we honor today here at Pu'uloa, at Pearl Harbor. And so we pule this blessing upon each one of us. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Amen no kia koa. Apau, amau, amau. Aloha.
Kahu Kekoa, thank you so much. For nearly 2 decades, the National Park Service and the United States Navy have partnered together to conduct this annual National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day commemoration. Here to share an official welcome on behalf of the National Park Service is Mr. Tom Leatherman, Superintendent of the Pearl Harbor National Memorial. Mr. Leatherman has been working for the Department of the Interior for over 35 years, starting as an intern in college in 1989. Before moving to Hawaii, Mr. Leatherman served as superintendent at 4 National Park Service historic sites in the San Francisco Bay Area, including Port Chicago Naval Magazine National Memorial and Rosie the Riveter World War II Homefront National Historic Park. In October of 2021, He arrived on Oahu as the permanent superintendent of the Pearl Harbor National Memorial. Please welcome Mr. Tom Leatherman.
Aloha. And good morning. I want to open by acknowledging some of the dignitaries joining us today. The Governor of Hawaii, the Honorable Josh Green, and his wife Jamie. Admiral Brad Collins, Commander of Navy Region Hawaii. Lieutenant General Joshua Rudd, Deputy Commander of Indo-Pacific Command. And Aaron Dow, Deputy Director of the National Park Service, Pacific West Region, my boss. I'd also like to recognize additional flag and general officers, those in the senior executive service, members of the Consular Corps, state and local elected officials, and community leaders. This is my 5th year co-hosting this annual commemoration on Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, and each year, the weight of this moment grows more profound. It remains one of the greatest honors of my life to stand before you in this capacity. But even more powerful is the privilege of being in the presence of true American heroes, our World War II veterans and Rosies, and the families who have joined us today. Your courage and sacrifice and perseverance have shaped the very foundation of our nation. Please join me in offering a heartfelt round of applause. Our theme this year, as our MC shared, is Building Pathways to Peace. The first stones of that pathway were laid by the veterans whose stories we carry with us. Yet today, we mark a deeply emotional milestone. For the first time in the history of this ceremony, no Pearl Harbor survivors were able to join us in person. Though a few survivors remain with us, none were able to make the journey this year. Their absence is felt profoundly. To those who may be watching afar on our live stream, we honor you, we remember you, and we thank you. Let us offer them a round of applause for their eternal courage and sacrifice. You have inspired generations, including me. Your bravery, fortitude, and willingness to stand in defense of freedom have shaped lives you will never know and touched hearts you will never meet. You have carried the torch for so long, and now it is up to us, not only to receive it, but to ensure that its light never fades. We must redouble our efforts to make certain the story of Pearl Harbor is not lost to time. Along this pathway to peace, another essential cornerstone is found in the Pearl Harbor families, those whose loved ones once faced the unimaginable on December 7th, 1941. Some were lost, some survived and continued the fight. All left a legacy that echoes through history. Some survived. These families have been the unwavering support behind the service members, the quiet strength that so often goes unseen yet holds immeasurable power. I invite the families with us today to please stand and be recognized for your courage and commitment to keeping these stories alive. Could I have the families stand, please? In their honor, we have placed a wreath in the entry room of the memorial. If you're able to visit later today, you will find it surrounded by the name cards of every sailor who served on the Arizona. Please take one as a personal remembrance, a symbol of devotion, service, and sacrifice that binds us all. To continue building these pathways to peace, we rely on steadfast partners, and none are more essential than Pacific Historic Parks and the United States Navy. Their dedication keeps the stories of Pearl Harbor alive for millions, ensuring that this sacred place remains accessible, meaningful, and preserved for generations who have yet to walk on these grounds. Pacific Historic Parks brings history to life, not only through commemorative events like this today, but through audio tours, virtual reality experiences, education programs, and the heartfelt work of their board members and staff. Please join me in recognizing them for their tireless efforts. And the United States Navy, especially the Arizona Detachment, stand shoulder to shoulder with us in the stewardship of this memorial. They operate the boats that ferry visitors to the USS Arizona Memorial every day, a quiet but powerful act of remembrance each day. Our partnership has never been stronger, and I am grateful for the unwavering commitment they demonstrate time and again. I especially want to thank Captain Samuel White, Joint Base Commander, for his leadership, collaboration, and deep respect for this site. This past September, during challenging salvage operations on the USS Arizona, Captain White led a diverse team of service members to ensure safe access for visitors, and his efforts reflect not only professional excellence, but a heartfelt dedication to preserving the memory of those who rest here. And to my own team, the National Park Service staff who work here each day with devotion and humility, thank you. Your work ensures that millions can visit the memorial, learn from its history, and find moments of reflection and healing. Please join me in acknowledging their extraordinary service. We are also deeply grateful for the Prayer for Peace group, whose presence each year enriches the ceremony in profound ways. In your program, they share a prayer from Japan that reminds us of the universal hope for healing, reconciliation, and lasting peace. Their steadfast participation is a cherished part of this commemoration, and we honor the spirit of unity that they bring to this sacred day. We are also honored to welcome the Mayor of Nagaoka, Japan, and his delegation, whose continued presence reflects a deep friendship and commitment to peace shared between our communities. We also extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Nagasaki atomic bomb survivors, who joined us for the first time this year, reminding us the profound human cost of war and the enduring importance of reconciliation and peace. Over the years, our partners, families, and staff have become the pillars sustaining the stories and lessons of Pearl Harbor. Yet, as we look to the future, we recognize that the responsibility of remembrance grows heavier. We must find new ways to reach hearts and minds, to inspire, educate, and ensure that future generations understand not only what happened here, but why it must never happen again. When our exhibits were redesigned in 2010, we expanded the story to include the global events that led to the attack and the consequences that followed. The crane, donated by the nephew of Sadako Sasaki, whose life became a symbol of both tragedy and hope, was added to help connect Pearl Harbor to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It stands as a testament to the power of reconciliation and the remarkable transformation of two nations from wartime adversaries to steadfast allies. This year, we added new items to honor our growing relationship with Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park, formalized in 2023. These exhibits remind us that peace is not merely the absence of conflict. It is an ongoing commitment, one we must nurture, support, and carry forward. Ceremonies like the Blacking Canteen and the Japan-U.S. Reconciliation Ceremony tomorrow on December 8th are powerful examples of how far we have come, and the work we must continue. But building pathways to peace does not rest in institutions alone. It rests on you and your willingness to share the stories of valor and sacrifice, to speak of the men and women who served here, and to help ensure their legacy remains alive in the hearts and future generations. I challenge each of you, carry these stories forward. Share them with your children, your grandchildren, your communities. Let their voices echo through your words. Their courage to inspire new generations to learn from our past, and most importantly, to choose peace. Only then we truly honor the memories of those who served here 84 years ago. It is the privilege of my lifetime to serve as the superintendent of Pearl Harbor National Memorial. And in my time here, I will do everything in my power to ensure that we always and forever remember Pearl Harbor. Mahalo.
Mr. Tom Leatherman, thank you. The National Park Service shares the honor of serving as caretakers of the history of this hallowed ground with the United States Navy. Here to share an official welcome on behalf of the Navy is Rear Admiral Brad Collins, Commander, Navy Region, Hawaii. Rear Admiral Collins is a native of Lake Forest, California. He graduated from the United States Naval Academy with a Bachelor of Science in Political Science. He is also a graduate of the U.S. Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island, where he earned a master's degree in national security and strategic studies. He has commanded at multiple echelons, including HSL-42, Naval Support Activities Suda Bay, Commander Navy Region Northwest, and Commander Navy Region Europe, Africa, Central. He assumed command of Navy Region Hawaii on August 8th, 2025. Please welcome Rear Admiral Brad Collins.
Aloha. Thank you, Mr. Ono, for serving as the Master of Ceremonies and for your kind introduction. Tom, that was amazing. Riptide, it was good to see you up here. The weight of this ceremony is truly felt by all. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished visitors, and on behalf of the United States Navy and all who wear the uniform of our nation's armed forces, I would especially like to acknowledge and welcome all the veterans of Pearl Harbor and World War II who have joined us here for this 84th anniversary commemoration. It is an honor to welcome you here to Pearl Harbor, where we can extend our appreciation and afford each of you the recognition that you have earned. Your generation's example of selfless service, endurance, and valor continues to inspire current and future generations of service members and Americans. It is critical that we strive to instill the values that you fought with and for into the fiber and foundation of our nation's fighting force, always careful both to learn the lessons that have been taught by you and to emulate by example. Please join me in expressing our heartfelt gratitude for the heroes of Pearl Harbor and World War II here today. I would also like to acknowledge the families of the veterans who are no longer with us to share in these commemorations. Your loved ones gave tirelessly and completely of themselves to defend our freedoms and to secure the liberty we all enjoy today. We are forever grateful for their service, and they will never be forgotten. A round of applause for them. Thank you, Tom, and the leadership and staff of the Pearl Harbor National Memorial for your dedication to preserving such a vital landmark of our nation's rich history and cultural experience, and for recognizing, cataloging, and honoring our most valuable resource, the memories and the sacrifices of those who served during such a pivotal moment in American history, and indeed the history of our world. I am grateful for your continued partnership with the United States Navy in coordinating this annual commemoration and for allowing us to conduct the ceremony from the grounds of this beautiful, beautiful park. Thank you, Tom. In the background here, two memorials. The USS Arizona and the USS Missouri fill our view from the hallowed ground of this location. 2 points in history that form a larger narrative of the events that changed the world between December 7th, 1941 and September 2nd of 1945. Just 3 short months ago, we stood on the decks of that mighty ship in the distance, the USS Missouri, as we commemorated the end of World War II, and we considered the 80 eventful years that have passed since the guns fell silent on the most devastating war in world history. That commemoration was a recognition of the end of World War II, the moment in time that set the war-torn nations of the world on a pathway to a hopeful but tenuous peace. The sacrifices of the Second World War are a reminder that lasting peace requires a determination to remain strong and vigilant in the face of forces that choose to threaten our collective security. And we recognize then, as we do now, that victory came as a result of the cooperation of allies who share a common desire for peace through strength and the commitment to defend themselves and one another. The attack on Pearl Harbor challenged our false sense of security and reminded us how precious and fragile that freedom was and is. Today, as we remember the attack on Pearl Harbor 84 years ago, we have learned that the pathway to peace must lie in being prepared to defend all that we value. The United States remains committed to ensuring peace through strength while securing our national interests and always being willing to defend the transcendental values of freedom, liberty, and faith that form the foundations of our country. We also recognize that the Allied partnerships that were forged 80 years ago at the conclusion of the war carry on and are a vital part of our collective strength and our readiness today. In addition, other cooperative and collaborative organizations like the Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies enhance and nurture the vital partnerships with our allies in the Indo-Pacific region and across the globe. However, none of these advancements and none of these accomplishments would have been possible without the service and the sacrifice of those that went before us. So thank you to all of you again for coming here to this place to honor all of our veterans, those we are grateful to still have with us, and those who have passed. Our commitment to commemorate the past and to honor the sacrifices and services of our forebears will play an important role in building peace through strength while continuing to develop and fortify additional pathways to peace in the future. May God bless our heroes, the United States Navy, and the United States of America. Thank you all.
Thank you, Admiral. Beautiful speech. Now I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Major General Veres Lum. General Veres Lum, a native of Hawaii, brings over 3 decades of distinguished military service and leadership to her role as director of the Daniel K. Inouye Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies, which she assumed in January of 2025 after serving as president of the East-West Center. A Major General in the U.S. Army until her retirement in 2021, her career spanned the Army Reserve, Regular Army, and Army National Guard. Her final assignments included serving as mobilization assistant to the commander of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. Beyond her military and academic achievements, Veres Lum serves on the board of the Bank of Hawaii, the Pacific International Center for High Technology Research, and the Hawaii Army Museum, and is a member of the U.S.-Japan Council and a fellow of the National Academy of Public Administration. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm welcome for Major General Veres Lum.
Mahalo nui. Aloha mai kako, a warm greeting to you all. Mahalo ke akua, thanks be to God. This morning, 84 years ago, the calm waters of Pu'uloa, or Pearl Harbor, were forever changed. This sacred harbor reminds the world that from pain, peace can rise. And I am humbled standing on this hallowed ground among our honored guests, our treasures of the nation, our World War II veterans sitting right here and online who served and fought so valiantly, and our resilient Pearl Harbor survivors who are not here today, but we remember them, and our cherished Rosie the Riveters sitting there in the second row and third row, and our Gold Star families who are here in the audience, whose unwavering love keep the memories of our fallen heroes alive. And to our veterans and those serving today, we can never thank you enough for demonstrating and teaching us about courage, humility, and the meaning of service. To the Governor of the State of Hawaii and First Lady, thank you so much. And to Lieutenant General and Mrs. Rudd and Lieutenant General and Mrs. Glenn, thank you so much for your leadership, and Rear Admiral Collins. And of course, Tom and Eileen, thank you so much for your leadership. And our flag and general officers, senior enlisted leaders, ambassadors, consuls generals, and our partners from Japan and across the Indo-Pacific and world, all the National Park Service staff and Pearl Harbor Memorial staff, community members, friends, families, and our youth, our hundreds of youth who are here. Mahalo nui loa for being present this morning and online. And to our guests from Japan and the families of the American B-29 crew who perished over Shizuoka 80 years ago, Dr. Hiroya Sugano, your presence proves that reconciliation requires heart and courage. And tomorrow we gather, as Tom mentioned, for the Blackened Canteen ceremony, an 80-year tradition born from the ashes of war, uniting two nations with the hope of fostering a world committed to seeking peace. So I'm a daughter, or keiki, of Hawaii. My father, of Hawaiian ancestry from Maui, served in the U.S. Army in Vietnam, and my mother from Japan was born during World War II. And I reflect on my existence because my dad was stationed in Tokyo in the early 1960s at a time when Japan was emerging as a strong, peaceful, and democratic nation. And I sometimes think that my standing here could not have been possible if it wasn't for those sitting right in front of us, right here, and the many others they represent by being here today. There are no sufficient words to express our gratitude to our World War II veterans and all who supported their effort, and it deserves another round of applause. You know, my parents remind me that peace achieved after World War II was not just an abstract idea. It became personal for countless families like mine. The war shaped lives, friendships, futures, and continue to bind people together. And for those of us born and raised in Hawaii, December 7th is more than just a date in history, just as it is for our World War II veterans. It is not something just on a calendar. It is woven into the fabric of our family's stories, as these families here could tell you. You know, my Maui grandmother, Lei Kiakonavaris, remembered the morning the radio crackled the news that Honolulu, they didn't know at that time Pearl Harbor, was under attack. And an auntie told me that from Aiea Heights, right up here, they saw the smoke rising above the harbor and heard the echoes of explosions. And years later, I remember Pearl Harbor survivor Dick Jiroko. That morning, he was on Ford Island. If we look out there, you can see the tower. He was working on the PBY seaplanes when the bombs began to fall. He vividly recalled the explosions of the USS Arizona and how he sought cover in a ditch. Despite the chaos of that morning, he crawled and clawed to assist others, not just to save himself. You know, my daughter Diana, as a high school student years ago, presented a project on the keiki, or children of World War II, at Ford Island, right across. And she had a chance to hear Mr. Jiroko, then in his 90s, sharing his stories with young students who are here today, like her and her classmates. In that moment, I relish it because it was the moment between survivor and student, one generation passing the torch to another. That captured the essence of Hawaii's spirit and America's spirit: remembrance, resilience, and renewal. During the challenging days of World War II, Hawaii reflected remarkable courage and aloha, and so did our nation. Civilians and service members stood shoulder to shoulder. High school ROTC cadets, like many of you cadets here today, guarded perimeters, while sentinel-like fishermen watched the skies. Families opened their homes to those in need. The entire territory of Hawaii was mobilized, demonstrating that when called, our communities responded as one, unified, both in Hawaii and across this nation. U.S. Air Force Colonel retired Walt Kaniakua shared that his grandfather at the Pearl Harbor shipyard, civilian right across here, reported immediately after December 7th alarm as flames still raged across this base. And without hesitation, he joined countless of others in rescue and recovery efforts amidst the chaos of that day. And months later, he helped to repair, right here, the USS Yorktown, which was instrumental in the Battle of Midway. My great-uncles left Maui to serve in World War II with many other families who are here today, inspiring another generation of continued service. This is like many families across the United States who are sitting here, who found their way to serve here in the Pacific and in Hawaii. And my husband's great-uncle Howdy joined the Navy from Pottstown, Pennsylvania, and was stationed right here in Hawaii, and I marvel at his photographs, images of barbed wire lining Waikiki beaches and the Iolani Palace. Auntie Janet of Maui shared that she worked at the air defense site on Maui during the war, and some evenings she and her friends would go to the dance halls to support the young Marines of the 4th Marine Division who were training at Camp Maui before forging into the Pacific for battles in Saipan, Tinian, Iwo Jima. Communities across the United States, territorial Hawaii, gave their finest. From plantation towns to shipyards, from small farms to city blocks. And the 100th Battalion, 442nd Infantry Combat Team showed the world what it meant to go for broke. Our Rosie the Riveters built the arsenal of democracy. They remind us that not all heroes wear uniforms. Some wore aprons and welding masks, courage in their hearts and purpose in their hands. And when the guns fell silent, those who had witnessed the devastation of war vowed to build something better. Senator Daniel K. Inouye, son of Hawaii, a hero and Medal of Honor recipient of the 442nd, and a man who knew both the cost of conflict and the power of reconciliation. He helped to establish the Daniel K. Inouye Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies to strengthen relationships and prevent future wars. And at our center today, we live his vision, peace through strength, as our secretary has said, to deter conflict and build capacity and help to solve Indo-Pacific's toughest challenges alongside our primary mission partner, the Indo-Pacific Command, and our U.S. allies and partners who are sitting here today. The work we do each day at the center stands on the shoulders of those we honor, our World War II generation, the greatest generation, whose sacrifice built the peace we now strive to preserve. And now, as we speak of December 7th, we remember the shock, the heroism, and the loss. But we also remember what followed, the resolve, the unity, the rebirth. Japan, once an adversary, now stands as America's closest ally, one of them, and in that transformation yields a lesson that even the deepest wounds can heal when we choose understanding over anger. The greatest generation we honor today built the foundation of courage, faith that shapes who we aspire to be, our veterans and the families who stood beside them. You carried on in the darkest days of the war, through danger, exhaustion, and uncertainty. But you returned, and you helped to rebuild. Thank you. You helped to raise families who are sitting behind you. And you showed us how to live with honor and humility. Your stories, their stories, are not relics of the past. Indeed, they are lessons for the future, as you heard the Admiral say. To our young people today, and there are many here thanks to the Park Service and the memorial, the future leaders of Hawaii, the future leaders of America, the future leaders of the world, I say, remember. Remember the stories of those who came before you, sitting right here in front of us. Stories of courage, stories of sacrifice, and stories of forgiveness. It is now your turn, young people, to build bridges of understanding, to choose peace over division, to carry forward the spirit of aloha into a new century, because the story of Pearl Harbor is not finished. It continues with each and every one of you. And as we look across these sacred waters, sacred, once blackened by smoke, now glimmering with light, may we remember not only what was lost here, but what was born here. A spirit of unity, a spirit of sacrifice, a spirit of aloha that continues to guide us. Mahalo nui loa, mahalo ke akua, thanks be to God, and God bless our veterans, their families. And God bless those who continue to serve in our nation's cloth and their families, our allies and partners who come with us, and our young people who hold our future in your hands. And to all of you here today and online, and God bless the United States of America. Aloha.
Thank you, General, for that beautiful and... This morning, we will place wreaths to honor the territory of Hawaii, Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard. The wreaths will be presented by active duty and Guard service members, National Park Service Rangers, and by members of the local McKinley High School Junior ROTC, cadets of the Civil Air Patrol, and cadets from the Junior ROTC unit of Campbell High School. The wreaths you are about to see presented are an expression of our gratitude and a symbol of our unending appreciation of service and sacrifice. Today, with these wreaths, we honor all of the heroes, military and civilians, who lost their lives on December 7th, 1941. This formation, moving from the Remembrance Circle, which preserves the names and memories of each American who lost their lives on December 7th, 1941, represents our past and present. It honors those who fought in the name of freedom 84 years ago, and recognizes the veterans and current active duty members who continue to serve our country with honor, courage, and commitment. The wreaths will be placed in the contemplation circle as an indelible reminder of the legacy of these service members and civilians, and the hope that every future generation never forgets the many sacrifices that make freedom possible. The bell from the USS Arizona will sound in honor of the sacrifice of each service. We remember the territory of Hawaii. We remember the 49 civilians who lost their lives as a result of the attack. At a base for all of the military services, the then territory of Hawaii and its citizens played a major role in one of history's greatest salvage and repair efforts, quickly restoring most of the damaged ships and expediting their return to the fleet. Hawaii citizens opened their homes and businesses to servicemen stationed in the islands and to those returning from war patrols. Today, the state of Hawaii remains a strategic and welcoming home port for our military, continuing to offer aloha to all. Representing the territory of Hawaii is Staff Sergeant Andrew Galuteria Soares of the Hawaii Air National Guard, Ranger Joe Borgia from the National Park Service, and McKinley High School JROTC Cadet First Lieutenant Zachary Martin. We remember the United States Army, While many history books tend to focus on the Pearl Harbor attack, the brave members of the United States Army fought diligently to defend their posts on December 7th, 1941. In total, 233 soldiers were killed during the surprise attack. Today, from Schofield Barracks to Bellows Airfield, the U.S. Army stands ready to defend our nation and maintain a steadfast presence on Oahu. Representing the United States Army is Sergeant Joshua Scott, Ranger Tito Griffith from the National Park Service, and McKinley High School JROTC Cadet Major Kai L'Esperance. We remember the United States Marine Corps. Many may not realize until visiting the USS Arizona Memorial that the United States Marine Detachment made up part of each battleship's crew. In total, 109 Marines lost their lives that day. 105 perished aboard ships in Pearl Harbor. 4 were killed in action at the Eva Mooring Mast Field. Today's Marine continues the tradition of serving our nation wherever and whenever they were called upon. Their commitment to self-sacrifice and dedication provide a cornerstone for our nation's defense and the challenges of the 21st century. Representing the United States Marine Corps is Lance Corporal Victor de Santiago, Ranger Natasha De La Rosa for the National Park Service, and Campbell High School JROTC Cadet Lieutenant Robert Cabanti. We remember the United States Navy. (1,999) sailors lost their lives in the December 7th attacks in Pearl Harbor and Naval Air Station Kaneohe Bay. Many sailors met their final resting place in the waters directly behind me while defending their ships and helping their shipmates escape the burning waters. Many more assisted in rescue and recovery efforts in the days and weeks that followed. The sailors of today's Navy continue to serve with honor, courage, and commitment to protect our nation's interests at sea. Alongside America's allies and partners, they stand ready to provide maritime defense, preserve economic prosperity, and keep the seas open and free. Representing the United States Navy is IT-2 Alberto Hinojos, Ranger Chris Slatton from the National Park Service, and Campbell High School JROTC Cadet Commander Juliette Caston. We remember the United States Air Force. Though not yet a service in 1941, the United States Air Force was formerly referred to as the Army Air Forces, and here on Oahu as the Hawaiian Air Force. On December 7th, Lieutenants Ken Taylor and George Welch scrambled to their aircraft parked at Haleiwa Field and took off to brave the skies against incredible odds. Today, airmen serving in the United States Air Force in Hawaii continue the legacy of the defense of America's vital airspace interests around the globe. Representing the United States Air Force is Senior Airman Andrew Moitz, Ranger Joseph Wool from the National Park Service, and Civil Air Patrol Cadet Major Mia Sugahara. We remember the United States Space Force. America's newest military branch, the United States Space Force, carries a proud legacy of the Army Air Forces as guardians of America's interests around the globe. They represent the latest example of carrying on the legacy of the generations of Americans we honor today. The Space Force guardians in the Indo-Pacific stand vigilant to safeguard American assets in orbit from physical and digital attack in the ever-changing challenges of the 21st century. Representing the United States Space Force is Technical Sergeant Joshua Perry, Ranger Brian Mall for the National Park Service, and Civil Air Patrol Cadet Chief Master Sergeant Caleb Etlich. We remember the United States Coast Guard. At the time of the attack, U.S. Coast Guard vessels in Hawaii were all stationed in Honolulu. At 6:45, patrol craft Tiger intercepted a dispatch from USS Ward that claimed destruction of a submarine. Later, Tiger itself came under enemy fire as it participated in the defense of Oahu. The United States Coast Guard continues to serve as America's frontline agency for enforcing the nation's laws at sea, protecting the marine environment, and providing life-saving services. Representing the United States Coast Guard is Chief Warrant Officer Jordan Perry, Ranger Mariah Urbano for the National Park Service, and Campbell High School JROTC Cadet Lieutenant J.G. Hayden Umayam. At this time, the wreath presenters representing today's generation of veterans will salute the greatest generation for their service and their legacy.
Detail. And salute. Ready? Two. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Would all of our World War II veterans please remain seated so that we, all who are present here today, can honor you. We acknowledge that on December 7th, 1941, and in the years that followed, you executed your duties at your posts and weathered the storm of war. It is because of you and all those who served 84 years ago that we enjoy freedom and liberty in this great country today. Will everyone else please stand and join me in expressing our appreciation? A grateful nation applauds you today. Please remain standing for the benediction and Marine Corps rifle salute. At the conclusion of the rifle salute, a bugler from the United States Pacific Fleet Band will blow taps from the Contemplation Circle. A second bugler will echo the call from the Remembrance Circle, symbolizing our commitment to always remember the lives lost on that day and to carry on their legacy of hope in the defense of freedom and lasting peace. Rear Admiral Kerry Cash, Deputy Chief of Chaplains for the United States Navy, will now offer the benediction.
Aloha. I invite you to pray with me. Almighty God, you are the source of all sacrifice, the author of every heroic deed, and into your hands we commend all those whose lives have been laid upon the altar of freedom. The psalmist declares that those who go down to the sea in ships do behold the works of God in the mighty deep. For you command and raise the stormy wind, which lifts up the waves of the sea, and you quiet the storm and still the wind, and the waves of the sea are hushed. O Lord, the storm of war came to this very place 84 years ago, to these waters and to this peaceful harbor. On that Sunday morning, many faithful who wore the cloth of our nation awoke to a world in conflict. Some drifted from sleep to eternity. Others ran to their stations and readied themselves to fight. Others were thrust into fire or water, so young to meet a world turned upside down. Still others were preparing for worship or on their way to the house of the Lord. For all of these we are grateful, and we can only pray that we might walk worthy of their sacrifice and win for them the prize of the virtuous nation for which they fought. This was a day that would live in infamy, but we do again consecrate this day and these dead who mark this site and who by their spirit stir these waters. We do again hallow these depths and these souls who awoke to war but stood in number to give an answer. O God, who art the judge of nations and the Lord of our lives, bless and strengthen every veteran still living this day, that in you alone they might hope, and in you alone they might seek the heavenly city whose architect is God. And may we all seek that city, O Lord, for it belongs to this generation. It belongs to us to awaken our souls, stir our courage, strengthen the weary, ennoble the young, and always place our faith in you, our God, our Redeemer, and our mighty Savior. Amen.
Thank you, Admiral Cash. Stand by for rifle salute. Side boys, post. On behalf of the National Park Service and the United States Navy, thank you for attending today's observance of the 84th anniversary of the attack on Oahu, and for continuing to remember and honor the sacrifices made by those who served here on December 7th, 1941. To those who are watching our ceremony through our online broadcast, we also extend our sincere aloha. Thank you to Pacific Historic Parks for providing the live stream. This ceremony would not have been possible today without the critical assistance of Pacific Historic Parks. Please remain standing for the departure of the official party. Major General, United States Army, retired, departing. Navy Region Hawaii, departing. Deputy Chief of Chaplains, United States Navy, departing. Mr. Tom Leatherman, Superintendent, Pearl Harbor National Memorial, National Park Service, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Please take a moment to meet our veterans in attendance and offer a personal expression of gratitude for their service, their sacrifice, and for giving us the opportunity to honor them here today. Please enjoy the patriotic music performed by the United States Pacific Fleet Band as you depart. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Mahalo.